Dumaguete Mayor Felipe Antonio Remolyo, officials, department heads, and employees of the City Government of Dumaguete, mga kapwa ko lingkod bayan at iba pang mga panauhin, isang mainit na pagbati ng maligayang ika-122 taong anibersaryo ng pagkakatatag ng Serbisyo Sibil ng Pilipinas. I wish to be with you physically in Dumaguete, but I was called to attend an equally important meeting today at the House of Representatives. Nonetheless, I would like to express my sincerest gratitude for your invitation to grace Dumaguete's opening salvo and flag-raising ceremony to celebrate the annual Philippine Civil Service Month celebration. I'm honored to celebrate my first Philippine Civil Service anniversary as the chair of the Civil Service Commission, and I take this opportunity to recognize all the public officials and employees and celebrate our collective achievements in the service of our country and fellow Filipinos. Ang tema po ng pagdiriwang ng PCSA ay Transforming Public Service in the Next Decade, Honing Agile and Future-Ready Servant Heroes. This theme reflects the path that we are on, learning from the lessons of the COVID-19 pandemic and building on the gains of our modernization efforts. More than 800 days after going into varying levels of community quarantines and departing from the usual way of doing things, we are cautiously emerging into what I hope is not just a new normal, but a better normal for all. The pandemic somehow compelled us to move faster, to bridge the digital divide and come up with pioneering initiatives in the pursuit of efficient public service delivery. For 2022, the thematic focus is on resilience, which is part of building smart organizations and future-ready civil service. Resilience has been shown by the civil service during the pandemic crisis in its readiness to accept challenges and the ability to give continued assistance to the public. Kaugnay ng tema ng PCSA ay ang aking panawagan sa kapwa ko mga lingkod bayan dito sa Dumaguete na manatili po tayong maging resilient, maging matibay na sandigan ng bayan at ng taong bayan sa pagbangon natin sa epekto ng pandemya. Hindi po magiging madali ang susunod na mga taon. Ngunit naniniwala ako na sa ating pagsisikap, sigasig at pagkakaisa, makakamit natin ang minimithing kaayusan, kapayapaan at maginhawang pamumuhay para sa lahat. The Civil Service Commission is the central personnel agency of the Philippine government, responsible for the policies, plans, and programs concerning all civil service employees. The CSC has been rallying and anchoring on the bottom line that human resource management excellence translates to excellent government and public service delivery. So allow me to share the initiatives of the Commission in the 4 core human resource management areas: recruitment, performance management, learning and development, and rewards and recognition. On competency-based recruitment, the CSC ensures that agencies adhere to the core principle of equal opportunity in recruitment and merit-based selection and placement as enshrined in the Civil Service Law and Rules. The governance framework on recruitment serves as our basis for talent planning, selection, and placement, and succession in government. The CSC will ensure that merit and fitness is primordial in the selection of our human capital in the public sector via competency-based recruitment. The development of competency-based recruitment is linked closely with the concerns on the professionalization of the civil service. On engaging employees through a functioning performance management system, we believe that as an indicator of good governance, performance management is a barometer that not only reflects the individual's employees' performance, but also the organization's productivity. The CSC implements the Strategic Performance Management System, or SPMS, which aims to empower employees by making us appreciate how one's individual performance is linked to the attainment of the organization's goals. The pandemic, of course, presented performance management challenges given our digital workspace. So we, your CSC, intend to review work targets and recalibrate outputs to measure productivity, among other factors, to improve our current performance appraisal systems. On learning and development, or providing capacity building, the CSC underscores this as a highly effective tool in improving organizational effectiveness. CSC intends to come up with retraining programs for government workers to equip them with appropriate knowledge of technology. We need to upskill and reskill our entire workforce to be digitally literate, to be adaptive and agile in internet-based service delivery. And, of course, on rewards and recognition. We believe that excellence acknowledged is excellence nurtured. We have been partners with appropriate government agencies in developing policies for the protection of government workers and ensuring high morale among them. For instance, the CSC crafted the guidelines for the establishment of mental health programs in the public sector, in consultation, of course, with medical experts and other stakeholders. CSC has encouraged government agencies to have mental health programs, a timely intervention given the psychological impact of the pandemic in everyday life. CSC also mobilized government and non-government organizations offering counseling and psychological services which state employees may tap through online consultation. Now, a landmark policy that would eventually transform our HR systems, processes, practices, and work culture is CSC Resolution number 22-00209, or the Policies on Flexible Work Arrangements, or FWA, in government. This aims to provide adaptable and responsive work schemes for government officials and employees to manage any current or emergent situations caused either by natural and or man-made calamities or any other situation that may affect the delivery of public services. With this policy in place, the CSC works to improve work-life balance, encourage the adoption of information and communications technology for remote work, and provide reasonable work arrangements for vulnerable employees such as senior citizens, pregnant women, immunocompromised individuals, or those recovering from sickness, injuries, and issues of mobility. Another important journey that the CSC is embarking on under the leadership of this present commission is to push for the digitization and digitalization of our processes and services. We have been applying the lessons we learned in the past 3 years to give more efficient, seamless, and responsive service to our stakeholders. We encourage the LGUs here, barangays included, to support these initiatives so that we can champion excellent human resource management here in Dumaguete. Finally, allow me to reiterate my commitment to prioritize efforts to further professionalize the civil service, not only to make it world-class, but more importantly, to better serve our fellow Filipinos. Umaasa ko na sa pamamagitan ng paggunita ng ika-122 anibersaryo ng pagkakatatag ng Serbisyo Sibil ng Pilipinas, patuloy nating mapagninilayan ang mga maaari pa nating maiambag o maihandog sa ating bayan tungo sa pagtupad ng ating layuning maging lingkod bayani sa lahat ng sandali. Inasahan ko ang pakikilahok ng mga Dumagueteños sa mga aktibidad ng Civil Service Commission. Muli, maligayang pagdiriwang at mabuhay ang mga lingkod bayan ng pamahalaan.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. Tonight, again, we're very fortunate to have with us one personality in the Civil Service Commission of the Regional Office, Region 7. Actually, he was here together with the Regional Director, Carlos Evangelista, during the opening salvo of the Civil Service 122nd anniversary in Dumaguete City. In fact, this was nationwide, no? Zooming. So It was an opportunity for Dumaguete City to showcase our opening in Salvo. And fortunate enough, we were with this personality that we have and our guest tonight. And together with the regional director of the Civil Service Commission, Carlos Evangelista, and our provincial director, Ma'am Kiliano. Now, tonight we have with us as our guest in our program, Attorney Ernesto Miguel Amores, who is our attorney for Legal Services Division of the Civil Service Commission Regional Office, Region 7. Attorney Earl, if I may call you Attorney Earl,
Yes,
good evening and
yes,
welcome
you
to our
can.
episode of Let's Talk.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me, Dok Dinno.
Yes.
It's an honor to be in your show, and it would be a great opportunity for all of us to share on the different policies that are applicable this time for the Civil Service Commission and the public, and
Oh,
of course our government officials and employees. Yeah.
yes, Attorney Earl, I understand para sa parang makabalutanan, no?
Uh,
You're from Valencia actually, but now working in the Civil Service of Cebu, no?
Yeah, actually, no. The story behind that is that my father is native from Valencia, Negro. So
Okay.
every year I always visit Valencia. So because my father goes home, so maybe 3 to 4 times a year, or maybe more. So during summertime, during Christmas. So that is why I'm familiar with the place, and of course Dumaguete. We go to Dumaguete City. Yeah.
Yeah, briefly
So
tell us, where did you take up your undergrad and then your law degree? Saan ka
Yeah.
natapos yan?
So I took up my undergrad. I got the Bachelor of Science in Nursing at Cebu Doctors University.
Okay.
And I proceeded to University of San Jose Recoletos to take up law. And took the bar exams on 2016 and 2017. I got the results that I passed. So by the glory of God, I was able to become a lawyer. So that's it, Dok Dinno.
Yes, as a Legal Services Division, briefly tell
Ayun.
our viewers what do you exactly do as attorney for there?
Yeah, so as attorney for, I have a lot of functions actually, and I think it will be more. I discuss in detail as I submitted a certain profile on the functions that I do. But the core functions is that the disposition of administrative cases.
Okay.
So I conduct preliminary investigation, formal investigation, issuance of show cause orders, and of course I also draft decisions.
Wow.
If there are employees who are charged with certain administrative penalties and offenses. So I do that, and of course there is that what do you call that catch-all duties and responsibilities that you can do anything. So that would include being yeah. I was in. I could no longer count as several radio programs. I was also in the TV show and the Young Lady Lawyers Association, and all other resource speaking engagements. So that's what I do, and of course there are other functions as well.
That's good to hear. Now, talk about your choice of working with the Civil Service Commission, Region 7, among other government agencies. Right after nursing, right after your law degree, right after passing the bar, why is it that you went into the Civil Service Commission rather than working with other government agencies or even going into private practice, for that matter?
Yeah, actually, this is somewhat of an answered prayer because my mother is an HR director before, and she's really a human resource person. So she's the one that really inspired me to deal with to know more on about how to deal with people, and so fortunately the Civil Service Commission offer came up. There were also several offers, but this one really was as to, let's say, practicability, it was really close to my residence. So it's just situated here in Lahog, Cebu City. So and then the offer came up, and then I took the opportunity because I know that the Civil Service Commission is the human resource agency of the government. So in a way, I followed the footsteps of my father, who was also a lawyer,
Yes.
and my mother. So a combination of both of them. So that I took the job, and of course rose from the ranks and got the position that I have right now, which is attorney 4.
Okay.
So
Uh,
that's it, Dok Dinno.
Well said. Now, talk about the recent activity that you attended here in Dumaguete City, the 122nd CSC anniversary opening salvo that LGU Dumaguete did in coordination with, of course, the HR of Dumaguete, no? And
Yeah.
talk about that opening salvo and let our viewers know what your impressions in that activity.
It was one of the really amazing opening salvos I ever been to, and actually it was also challenging at the same time because it was raining. But I was really impressed because all of us, again, allow me to speak in the vernacular, ngilingigil kayo si Mayor, because we saw in him that, oh, the show must go on. We have to.
Yeah.
He he really went there and nawanan siya.
Yeah.
And at the same time, just when the rain stopped, the sun came out and it was really init na po kayo. So nagsagol gid ng sweat, and that the weather was not that well. But again, it was really impressive because it showed how dedicated we are as public servants, how we need to deliver what is due. So also it was really nice, and then also we had that Zumba, the dancing, of course. Just like I've been the last time I was there 2 weeks ago, we danced or the morning Zumba, which is I believe it's already routine, right, Doc? So
Yes.
You always have that.
Yes, as part of human resource.
It was a really nice experience, Doc. And I really commend everyone and those who prepared, especially with the number of chairs that were there, the number of umbrellas. How did you prepare for those things? It was really amazing. So, and still the show went on, the flag, etc., the program.
That's very good to
It's
hear.
really nice.
Now, although si Chairperson Nograles, who got confirmed actually, recently already reappointed siya. Although he was not here physically present because of that congressional hearing, sa confirmation niya. But he sent in a pre-recorded message. Your talk about his message briefly. How did you find his message to our civil servants here all over the nation actually, because it was via Zoom?
His message was really moving. Something that would tell us more on what the direction would be for our Civil Service Commission. He really expressed on the certain policies that we need to adapt, and of course what he talked about was the values that we need to spread throughout the bureaucracy. So Chair's speech was really insightful. Talked about the values of love of God and country, spirituality. That's in line with spirituality, and of course integrity and excellence, and of course the policies that goes with it. That is why the Civil Service Commission is in the position to issue certain policies, rules and regulations, so that we would be able to effectively and efficiently perform our duties and responsibilities. So Chair's speech was really something that inspired all of us, and then, of course, it would tell us that we would be more, or we would perform more if we incorporate these values into our work. So I think that was more on what was his drive, or what was the spirit behind his speech.
Okay, that's good.
So that's it, Doc.
Yeah. Now, you personally met with Mayor, for a couple of times.
Yes.
You were able to, when you were going around Pantawan and was showing you around his project, which was the Pantawan. You got to talk with him. Tell me your impressions about our mayor here in Dumaguete City of Mayor Effect. Your impressions, please.
Yes, Mayor Remolio is first. I like to discuss a little bit, but actually barkada na siya sa of my late father.
Okay.
They went to the same. I think it was high school, St. Paul's, and of course They also had at Siliman University. So they're quite close, and I could say, but I was not there when they they bonded. So unfortunately, my dad died on 2004, so I couldn't really recall our conversations with the mayor. But when I met him a couple of times, he's really a nice mayor. He knows what he's doing. He is very enthusiastic. He's driven. Actually, it's like night and day when I saw the boulevard. Before, I always go to the boulevard. Every time I go there, it's still the same. The it looks the same. Before, there wasn't even that I love Dumaguete, and then I love Dumaguete sign, and then Dumaget me. Then suddenly it was like, wow, what is this really the boulevard that I knew before? So it was really amazing, Doc. And it's all because of maybe a collaboration of other people, but more on the drive and the determination of our mayor of Dumaguete City to pursue these types of projects, to make these types of improvements, not just for the city, but of course the people, and probably it would also bring in more guests, more tourists, to improve the economy of Dumaguete. So it's a really nice move, and it's a really nice project, and I really admire the courage that it takes to do that. So Mayor Remolio is really strong and determined mayor, and he was also good with the people. As I witnessed, and when we were walking sa boulevard, the people really respect him and admire his kindness, and of course his ability to mingle with whoever he meets. So he's a really nice mayor, and maybe it would be something that let's say other mayors could also benchmark or try to emulate.
Until Mayor that. Anyways, Attorney Earl.
Yes.
Right after the opening salvo, we had a gathering at the Southview Hotel and in its function hall, and attended by our head of offices, our department heads, officials, elected officials in the city, plus some officers of their respective HR association, Sikihor, from Canlaon, and from Bayawan also, who attended, yung mga HR heads nila. Now, you were talking about a certain policy that you would like us, HRs and LGUs or other government agencies, to adopt. No, talk about the latest CSC policy on flexible work arrangements, no, or FWA, in the government's response to the still ongoing pandemic and other natural or man-made circumstances. No, what is this all about? Kindly explain to our viewers about this.
All right. So, as to this CSC policy, it is on the flexible working arrangements, which was issued on May. What do you call this? It was issued on May 18. CSC resolution number 2200209, the policy on flexible working arrangements. It was promulgated on May 18, 2022, circularized by CSC Memorandum number 6, series of 2022. So this policy institutionalizes the adoption of flexible work arrangements to provide safe workspaces for government workers and protect their health and welfare while meeting the demands of public service. This is to prepare government agencies to overcome challenges during times of crisis. So this is something that we issued not just for the pandemic, but for other considerations. So we issued this doc for certain traffic congestion, other for priority for senior citizens, employees who are PWDs, and pregnant women, etc. So it's just a brief statement or an overview on what the flexible arrangements include or cover.
Tell our viewers yung legal basis for this FWA or flexible work arrangement, and who are basically covered by this.
Yeah, so as I mentioned a while ago, Doc, yes, CSC Resolution number 2200209. This is circularized via CSC Memorandum number 6, series of 2022, dated June 6, 2022. So as to your second question, these policies shall apply to all appointive government officials and employees in all government agencies and instrumentalities, namely the constitutional bodies, departments, bureaus, and agencies of the national government, GOCCs, local government units, state universities, and colleges,
Mhm.
and regardless of status of appointment. So, yeah, dili mo matter whether you are permanent, temporary, provisional, substitute, coterminous, casual, contractual, or fixed term. So applies to these types of employees and officials.
I understand, attorney, this only applies to appointed officials, no? Are we not considering also elective officials in these particular arrangements, no? Flexible work arrangements.
As to that, Doc, just like by analogy, administrative cases or administrative jurisdiction over elective officials is not covered by the Civil Service Commission. So why are flexible working arrangements not also applicable to elective officials is that because of their nature of their work. So imong analyze so maybe the nature of their work requires them to be a certain place to do something, especially when there are certain natural or man-made calamities or
Correct.
circumstances. And of course we have like the mayor needs to be in this place or in another place. So it would not be it would not be effective if he would be stuck in one place or be working in certain place 8 to 5 or a certain
Okay.
time. So
Yes.
that is why they are given that privilege to have that certain time of working. So when you speak of also appointed, it's only for appointed government officials because again, as I mentioned, the Civil Service Commission only covers appointed government officials and employees.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So basically, how can, let's say, visualize na to, no? How do
Okay.
you intend for this particular FWA, flexible work arrangements, be implemented? How would one agency like LGU Dumaguete be able to, if they decide so, to apply the same, how can they avail of the same?
So as to how to avail of
Or
a
the
flexible work
requirements,
arrangement.
or requirements for
Yes.
uh,
All right. So, as to the general requirements, there are actually a lot, but let's discuss one by one. What is important is that number one, officials and employees shall render work from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on all days except Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. So that's one requirement. Agencies shall ensure continuous delivery of services from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So including lunch break throughout their work week. So that's another requirement. Another requirement is that agencies, this is the most important requirement, I think, to formulate internal guidelines, Doc,
yes.
on the flexible work arrangements they have adopted and implemented. And of course, this shall be submitted to the Commission for records and reference purposes.
Okay.
Internal guidelines shall include tasks that may be allowed to be accomplished outside the office and other protocols such as health emergency plans to prevent the spread of infectious diseases. Another requirement, Doc, agencies shall incorporate in their public service continuity plan the adoption of flexible work arrangements.
Correct.
So we may elaborate on that maybe later on. Employees under flexible work arrangement shall be entitled to compensatory overtime pay if they have physically reported to work and rendered services beyond the normal 8 hours or 40 hours work week. Agencies shall adopt performance standards and timelines in accordance with EODB. What is EODB? The ease of doing business in the civil service, in the government service, rather, in consonance with the approved OPCR, DPCR, IPCR, to guide government officials and employees in the performance of their tasks. Another requirement, failure to accomplish the assigned tasks within the timelines set by the agency may be a ground to deny subsequent requests. Another is agencies shall adopt a monitoring mechanism. So agencies are given that discretion how to monitor their performances while on flexible working arrangements. Agencies shall adopt the use of video conferencing, teleconferencing, also adopt security measures to ensure confidentiality, integrity, and availability of official documents. And online government transactions must be implemented in accordance with the Commission on Audit Circular number 2021-006 guidelines on the use of electronic documents. So these are actually 12 general requirements for the flexible working arrangements, though.
So yung
So
option,
that's if you
yes.
okay.
So yung option sa FWA, for example, an
Mm.
agency, government agency, or a state university may adopt, for example, and avail of the same in terms of, let's say, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday work hours. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then
So
let's say ano yung work hours niya, as long as they avail of the 40 hours, that they are able to comply with the 40 hours work week, no? Na
yes.
kailangan. Or they can settle for other days. Let's say, for example, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Is that possible?
Yeah, as to that, there are certain days that were provided by the commission, but
Yes.
we can just break it down to like Tuesday to Friday. We have Monday, Tuesday, then there's no Wednesday, then Thursday and Friday. Of
Okay.
course, you could also have Monday to Thursday.
Mhm.
So as to that, what is important, Doc, is that we just have to meet the 40 hours.
Correct. Okay. So yung bali yung
Yeah.
basis natin, no? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, yung sa internal guidelines, does this have to
Mm.
get approval from the national office or the regional office of Civil Service Commission, or can that be adopted and then may mga requirements lang for submission sa both sa regional at saka sa national office?
Yeah. So as to that, Doc, it's a very good question. The people or other agencies are also wondering why do we have to send it to the commission. Actually, the purpose for sending it to the commission is just for records and reference purposes. So if ever may buong lang mga tao ba na like uy nganong wala tao dere or at this time or something like that, because they are adopting certain flexible working arrangements. So once you just make your internal guidelines, the agencies can adopt and use those flexible working arrangements right away.
Okay.
But the general requirement is just to submit it to the commission for records and reference, and that's all. So it does not need the commission's approval. So so I think if you can already formulate your own internal guidelines, then you can adopt them.
May a
Right
government may a government agency also not adopt the same if they decide so?
Yes.
Pwede.
Pwede. Actually, Doc, they are empowered or they're given that discretion to determine what is best for their agency. So
Correct.
if ever they think na dili man applicable ni mga flexible working arrangements namo, so we will just not use the flexible working arrangements.
Now, how about for agencies mandated to operate on a 24-hour basis? What type of FA is applicable for them?
So as to for those on flexible the applicable flexible working arrangement for agencies mandated to operate 24 hours is the work shifting. Work shifting is one type of flexible work arrangement, Doc, that refers to those who are specifically performing functions in a 24-hour basis, or their mandate is to perform continuous service or delivery of service 24 hours. So we could speak of hospitals, fire departments.
Yes.
So those agencies are designed in such a way that they have to use the work shifting flexible work arrangement.
Okay.
So
Now,
I think so.
Yes. Now, talk about can agencies adopt several types of working arrangement, flexible working arrangement?
Yes, Doc. The agencies can adopt several types, but the commission gave certain combinations which are allowed. Combination of flexible work arrangements. So these combination of flexible work arrangement include the skeleton workforce and work from home. So when you say skeleton workforce, so we can say you can use this type of formula: 3 days in the office and 2 days work from home.
Correct.
So it's a combination of skeleton workforce and work from home.
Mhm.
At 8 hours per day, minimum of 4 hours to be spent in the office, and of course, provided a 40-hour work week is complied with. Another doc is work shifting and work from home, which requires 3 days work shifting in the office and 2 days work from home at 8 hours. So work shifting could be used for those who are, again, for like we mentioned a while ago, for those agencies who require to perform 24 hours work service. And of course, lastly is the compressed work week and work from home, a minimum of 6 hours to be spent in the office and the remaining hours in work from home for 4 days or 2 days, or it would depend on what is the preference of the agency. 2 days spent in the office and 2 days in work from home at 10 hours per day, provided that the required 40 hours work week shall be complied with. So I think those are the combinations that the agencies can use.
Now talk about senior citizens or those with comorbidities. No, I have difficulty pronouncing comorbidities. Sige lang ulit.
Comorbidities.
So that can't be provided any work from home task due to the nature of their position or function at the office. What's the alternative here, attorney?
So, as a general rule, Doc, work from home shall apply to government officials and employees whose assigned tasks can be accomplished outside the office. So, if you can't perform your work because of certain conditions, the same may be allowed for government officials or employees who are recuperating from a medical condition. So, maybe we could use that. And here, this is the time na musud the discretion of the head of agency to, in lieu of the task that can't be performed, maybe assign a task that can be performed at home. So, to modify certain tasks that they can perform, so that they can be placed in work from home.
Okay, Tony, your final thoughts and words on this particular policy and any other things that you'd like to share our viewers in Negros Oriental and most particular in Dumaguete City.
Okay, so my final thoughts. So you have this flexible working arrangement, and of course, this is for the efficient and effective performance of our public service. And you can also use these types of arrangements so that we can also adapt to the changing times. There are support mechanisms, there are benefits that you can get from this, and of course, when you fuse all of them, and maybe we could really see how beautiful and how effective we can be with these types of working arrangements. It will all depend now on the heads of agencies, and of course, in collaboration with their department heads, etc., and the immediate supervisors of the employees and officials of the government. And of course, this is very important as we transition to the certain what we call new normal. And that is why we have to adapt the use of technology, coupled with the ongoing pandemic. So this is very effective for us, and it is in a way something that would fuel us to work more, to work harder, because we are given this type of opportunity to, let's say, work from home, so that we could spend more time with our families, etc., and be more efficient, having that work-life balance. And of course, in line with the 122nd Philippine Civil Service Anniversary, I'd like to greet everyone a happy anniversary for us. Not just for the Civil Service Commission. It's always misconstrued to be something that deals with the Civil Service Commission. No, actually, it's for all of us. It's an anniversary for all of us civil servants. The civil service constitutes all of us in the public service. So happy anniversary to all, and to the city of Dumaguete, the land of gentle people. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great opportunity to speak to all of you, and salamat kay sa inyong pag-accommodate nako, and at the same time, it's an honor and a privilege to share with you the policies of the Civil Service Commission. And mabuhay ang Civil Service Commission, mabuhay ang Philippines, mabuhay ang Philippine government, and of course, mabuhay ang Dumaguete City. Thank you so much and God bless.
Attorney Earl, it's our pleasure to have you in our program tonight. And this will not be the last, definitely. There are other policies and maybe circulars that you'd like to discuss in the future. And definitely we'll see each other again in Dumaguete City and we'll have more talks, no? When it
Sure.
comes to maybe professional and personal personal talks. Okay. Attorney Earl,
For sure, for sure.
thank you very much for being my guest tonight.
Yes, Doc.
Now,
Alright, thank you so much.
so that's our guest for tonight, Attorney Ernesto Miguel Amores, Attorney 4, Legal Services Division of the Civil Service Commission, Regional Office, Region 7. And continue to like us at our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Let's Talk with Dok Dinno Dumaguete. So that's our program for tonight. I'm Dok Dinno. Be well, and let's keep talking.